You're listening to Hawk Talk with former Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Play fake, going to roll right, dumps it off into the right flat to Michael Bumpus, who bounces off of one tackler, gets inside the 40, down to the 35-yard line.
Powered by Seahawks.com.
Matt pump fakes, looking to the goal line. He throws it into the end zone. Touchdown Seahawks! It's Michael Bumpus with a diving catch in the end zone. A 10-yard touchdown reception for Bumpus, and the kid out of Washington State has found himself a place on this team.
Now, here's your host, Nasser Kyobe.
Welcome into another edition of Hawk Talk. Another one, the Seahawks victorious, beating the Arizona Cardinals 30-18 down in Glendale, Arizona. We are broadcasting from the Seahawks podcast studio presented by Sony, the official partner of the Seattle Seahawks. Bump, and I'm going to jump right into it because we got some good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we got some good stuff.
Seahawks obviously take care of business, fourth consecutive win. That is their 400th regular season win in franchise history, so big ups there, lots of wins. The Seahawks are now 10-1-1 against Arizona at State Farm Stadium since 2013. Own that thing. The 12s were out there in full force, as we heard on the broadcast.
They were loud.
And then Seattle's won 7 in a row and 8 of 9 in this series.
That's crazy. I didn't feel like they had that much dominance. I know Colt McCoy snuck one in there a few years ago. Yeah. But Kyler Murray hasn't beaten the Hawks yet? Is that what you told me, or is that did I hear that?
He's beaten the Hawks. He just hasn't beaten them down there.
Okay.
I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think. The last loss down there, that 10-1-1, the loss is 2020 COVID.
Yep.
Where the Seahawks are 5-0. Remember, we lost in overtime. And then the tie, obviously, in 2016. But their only other wins have been up at Lumen Field, unfortunately. Anyway, things are good, Bump.
Looking good, baby. Let's get it.
Vibes are good. Let's jump right into that matchup. What had happened?
See, what had happened was
On Hawk Talk.
Bump, the Seahawks defense has been dominant the last 5 games. They're probably the culprit. Not probably. They are the culprit for the turnaround in this season and what's happened as of late. And like I said, they're the major factor. They're the reason why the Seahawks are in the position they are. But Sunday, for the first time in a couple weeks, kind of started off a little rocky defensively. It wasn't their best start. Cardinals marched right down the field, going 6 plays, 70 yards, ending with a 41-yard touchdown to Michael Wilson. That made the score 7-0. So Seahawks behind the 8 ball early.
Yeah, Kobe just got caught flat-footed. I don't know exactly what the call was. Maybe he was expecting some help somewhere, a reroute. Who knows? But goodbye the Cardinals to come out swinging. But the Seahawks offense will respond with a drive of their own. They go 13 plays, 71 yards, but had to settle for a field goal. So, okay, you get points. That made the score 7-3. That's when the defense got going, man. On the next drive, Ernest Jones drops to the hook, reads Kyler Murray's eyes, snatches it out the air. It was intended for Marvin Harrison. On the next play, Geno wastes no time. JSN, corner route, nice route, too, at the top of his route. Violent with the stick, left foot in the ground, in the corner, touchdown, way to respond quickly.
Yeah, no kidding. And you talked about that violent move as a safety there. He didn't make him freeze, but he kind of froze right there,
like a little false step. Like what you doing? What you doing?
Jason, he's smooth. That made the score 10-7. 2 plays later, the Kyler Murray got forced into another bad decision as he was pressured then picked off by Kobe Bryant, his 3rd on the season. So the Seahawks offense made the Cardinals pay once again, driving down the field on 5 plays, 46 yards, ending with a 1-yard touchdown from Zach Charbonnet. Bump, can you talk about what happened on that play a little bit?
On Zach Charbonnet?
Yeah.
A lot happened. Was that the one where they were shifting?
All the motions,
All right, we got a tight end there. We're going to shift you that way. We got a receiver. He's going to move. Zach Charbonnet, actually, you go over here. There was just a lot of window dressing. And you know what? I appreciate that because inside the 5-yard line, this team has not been really successful. Right. And Grubb said, we got to try something else. We can't just line up and try to play big boy football and get downhill because, unfortunately, that's just not our game. So you get outside and give it to Charbonnet, and you get her done. So I appreciate them trying something different. Even if it didn't work, I would have appreciated a different approach.
Well, the thing about it, you mentioned all the moves. First of all, when you move the tight ends all over the place, because they've had formations where they have 3 tight ends out there. But I wrote it down. I think there was 4 moves. Brady Russell, he shifts to offset, right? Then Zach Charbonnet motions outside the tight end. Then A.J. Barner comes across the formation. Now he's the other wing on the other side. And then Charbonnet comes back in motion. Tight ends come out, hat on a hat. I love it because he was in his bag. Let's just call it what it is.
Yep.
You have to get creative in situations where you're struggling, so big ups on Ryan Grubb on that. That made the score 17-7, Bump. Cardinals, they would respond after that. A little decent drive. They'd have several field goal. That made the score 17-10. And then after back-to-back punts from both teams, the Seahawks would really take control of this football game when Zach Charbonnet broke off a 51-yard touchdown, making the score 24-10.
That was nice. We're gonna look at that a little later, give you all the details, but that was a backbreaker. 51 yards, Charbonnet getting downhill and doing what he's supposed to do. Then the Seahawks, they will go into the locker room up at the half by 2 scores. After back-to-back punts, the Seahawks offense would get back on the scoreboard again after 10 plays, 45 yards, settling for a field goal from Jason Myers. On third down, Geno Smith nearly connected with Tyler Lockett in the corner. It was a vintage Tyler Lockett situation. Just couldn't pull it in, but it's all good. They settled for a field goal. That made the score 27-10.
Cardinals, they would try to stay in the football game, responding with a 12-play, 70-yard touchdown drive where Kyle Murray found James Conner. A nice little play called, a little shovel pass.
Yep.
They would convert the 2-point conversion to make it 27-18. So the game is kind of feeling like in reach. The Seahawks never felt like they weren't in control. But at that point, it's a game. The Hawks would punt on their next 2 drives, and the Cardinals would drive all the way down to the Seahawks' 21-yard line after getting stopped on third down. They would decide, hey, we're going to need to get, we're down 2 scores. Let's kick the field goal. Not so fast. They went out there. Chad Ryland, he was doing double duty. He was punting. He was kicking. Unfortunately, the kick went off the crossbar, and he missed a 40-yard field goal.
Hate to see it. Their punter twisted his ankle, man. Unfortunate. But
it's been rough for punters recently, man.
It has been rough.
Take care of yourself.
You got the Chiefs on their 3rd punter. You got Tucker missing stuff, man.
Michael Dixon, big ups, getting back in the game after
Mike
the
Dixon, the back spasm stuff. It's a kicking game across the league. It's crazy right now. The Hawks would put the game away on the next drive, though. Another field goal from Jason Myers made the score 30-18, and the defense would keep the Cardinals out of the end zone on the game's final drive. The Seahawks outgained the Cardinals 409 yards to 356. The Seahawks also outrushed the Cardinals. Look at that, 176 to 121. Man, we haven't seen that in a while.
No, we haven't. Actually, well, it was the best performance of the season for the Seahawks running the football. First time they had a 100-yard rusher since the week 1, and it was the first time as a team they had rushed for over 100 yards since the Rams game in November. Seahawks one-time possession 33-26, and most importantly, they won the turnover battle going 2-0.
Yes, sir. You win the turnover battle, you're probably going to win that game. So a big ups for them. And after the Hawks lost 5 of 6 games, they have now won 4 games in a row. First time that happened since 2022. That doesn't feel right. The Seahawks remain all alone in first place in the NFC West.
Yeah, love to see it. And here's the thing. The Seahawks are going for 5 in a row. The last time that happened was the last time the Seahawks had won the NFC West title. That was back in 2020.
All right.
So hoping for more of that good mojo. We are broadcasting live from the Seahawks podcast studio presented by Sony, the official partner of the Seattle Seahawks. And Bump, I think it's safe to say this was the most complete game by the Seahawks
easily
this season. Offense, defense, special teams. Let's talk about it, Playmakers.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Playmakers.
Show them what time it is! Holy catfish!
Normally, Bump, we start with the quarterback, and we'll get to Geno Smith.
Not today.
No, not today. You got to talk about these running backs, specifically Zach Charbonnet, man. Career day, 22 carries, 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 7 receptions for 59 yards. Career high in total yards, rushing yards, and receiving yards. First 100-yard game since Ken Walker had 103 in the season opener versus Denver. That was week 1. We just completed week 14. So love to see it. Zach Charbonnet running his tail off, running hard. The offensive line, obviously, if we're talking about Zach, we got to give props to the O-line, did their thing. But it was really cool to see, that the Seahawks are capable of running the football when they want to. And I just love the physicality. And that just shows that's the last missing piece to what can take this team to the next level.
And there were downhills kind of runs, guard tackle pulls, you got traps and powers. You did run some zone, but I hit up my connections at UCLA today, and I said, man, what'd you guys do with Zach Charbonnet? Was it more gap scheme? Was it zone? He goes, it was actually more zone. So the fact that he got off during the gap scheme, I think obviously he's capable of doing it. He is a running back. You do both. But maybe he's adding something to his game a little bit because it was a lot of zone at UCLA. Nonetheless, big day for Zach Charbonnet. Deserves all the flowers and the love that he is getting. Now we're getting to our quarterback. Geno Smith was 24 of 30, 233 yards and 1 touchdown. The second consecutive game with 0 turnovers. That is crucial. It's the first time all season he's gone multiple games without a turnover. He completed 80% of his passes, the best of the year so far. Look at Geno when you give him time. Look at it. And also what I liked, he wasn't forcing it down the field. He took so many checkdowns. Man, A.J. Barner had a big reception of 30 yards, running guys over.
Yep.
You got obviously Zach Charbonnet contributing to the game. I love the composure in the decision-making of Geno.
Yeah, I mean, taking care of the football is paramount. And how many times this year have we seen Geno go to the podium and take responsibility for a lot of interceptions, quite frankly, that weren't his fault? Some were, but a lot of them haven't been this season. And every time we heard him talk about it, he's like, I just got to be better. They trust me with the ball in my hands to make good decisions. And that's exactly what he's done the last 2 weeks. And like you said, it helps when you're not under pressure. It helps when you're not getting sacked a million times a game. So big ups to the O-line and big ups to Geno Smith.
Second game in a row where he experienced the least pressure of the season. Big ups Brady Henderson for that stat. Second week in a row.
Hey, I love that trend. I'll take that trend because honestly, I mean, we're not going to get super ahead of ourselves, but if the Seahawks can protect and run the football, this team can beat anyone in the NFC. I'll say it right now. The NFC, as good as the Lions are, as good as the Eagles are, as good as the Vikings are, Packers, whatever you want to say it, the Seahawks can compete with any one of them if they're playing football like that. I mean, shoot, they almost beat the Lions, and that's a completely different team.
Man.
On the road.
That personnel's a lot different these days.
Yeah, and I'll take the Seahawks' chances in that one in the rematch. Anyway, we'll keep going down the list. Jackson Smith and Jigba just doing what he does, what he's been doing. 5 receptions for 82 yards, 1 touchdown. Set a single-season career high with 5 touchdowns, and then this is the 6th game in a row he has led the Seahawks in receiving. Jackson Smith and Jigba is emerging into a number 1 receiver, and it's pretty cool when you have 2 of them on the same roster.
He's grooving, and Grubb is finding ways to get him the football. Man, the slot receiver in today's NFL is a valuable one, and we're seeing that with JSN. He can play outside too, but he primarily works from the slot. He's the 5th leading receiver in the league right now when it comes to yards, 911 yards. I have to triple check that. I go, hold up. He's just been consistent. He has 3 100-yard games, but then he has a 70, an 80, a 60, a 60, a 70. He's consistent. He's looking more and more comfortable. Had a couple big plays on 3rd down, fingertip play, where he could have gone down to get the football, use those hands to get after it. JSN, man, I see you, dog.
That was probably the most underrated play of the game. I mean, that is just textbook. You can't body catch that one.
Yep.
Most people would have tried to dive. I would have tried to dive because I don't got hands like that. I'm going to hit off my shoulder pads. But no, good on him knowing that he could do something with it.
Yeah, get money. Next up, Ernest Jones, man, probably the best acquisition midseason in a while. Ernest Jones, man, big ups, Big Cat too. I ain't sleeping on you, dog. But this year it's about Ernest Jones getting picked up. 8 tackles, 1 pass defended, 1 interception. 3rd consecutive season with 100 tackles, man. First game as a Seahawk that he didn't lead the team in tackles because the young homie Tyrese Knight did. But Ernest Jones is him and Leonard are like the personality of this defense.
Yeah.
When Mike McDonald dreams of this Seahawk defense at night, he dreams of the physicality of Leonard Williams and Ernest Jones.
Without question. I mean, Paul Moyer mentioned it on the postgame show last night. It was the first time we'd potentially even seen Ernest miss a tackle.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, he is human. He's missed a tackle. No, Ernest is a baller, and so is Leonard Williams. Those 2 playing right down the middle in that defense are balling out. Big reasons why the Seahawks are doing what they're doing. And you just mentioned it, Tyrese Knight balling out too, led the team in tackles for the first time. 12 tackles, 2 pass defended, and bringing the wood too. He smacked somebody last game. I mean,
buddy.
He just looks confident. He was on the huddle this past week, and just hearing him talk and just watching how he commands the room, he's just confident on the football field. The first couple games, rightfully so. You're a rookie who was not expected to play as much as he was. He got thrown in there early against the Patriots and the Dolphins. You look at him now, he looks like a seasoned vet out there, dog.
He's smooth. He's a smooth operator out there. I'm happy for Tyrese Knight. They rolled the dice with these 2. Ernest Jones, obviously, he has a track record. We knew that he was going to be good, but you never know how guys adjust. But then Tyrese Knight, they said, look, we'll get rid of some guys for you, give you some snaps. He's taking full advantage of that thing. My dude, Kobe Bryant, 4 tackles, 1 pass defended, and 1 interception. The second time he's picked up Kyler Murray this year. Kyler Murray got to hate Kobe Bryant at this point. Last time it was a pick 6. This time it was him covering up for a mistake. Essentially, we heard Mike McDonald talk about what happened. There was a bust on that play. Kobe Bryant, being the football player, I was telling my co-host today, you always have a plan, X's and O's on paper, but then you got to go and just play football sometimes. Right. All right? That's not my assignment, but the ball is in the air. I'm just going to go attack it and get it. And he got his 3rd interception. He leads the team now. He won his first 25 to 28 games with no interceptions. My man's got 3 this year. Kobe Bryant is holding down that safety spot.
No question about it. Mr. Opportunity himself. He had, to his fairness, Quandre Diggs stole a couple picks from him because of the penalties.
Yeah, he
that
sure did.
he had.
Sure did.
But no, I love what Kobe Bryant's doing. Again, you get an opportunity and you don't let it go. And the competition on this football team is absolutely crazy right now. Broadcasting live from Seahawks Podcast Studio, presented by Sony, the official partner of the Seattle Seahawks. We mentioned him a little bit earlier. Leonard Williams doing his thing. 7 tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 pass defended. When you have a stat line like that and you're barely mentioned how you played in the game,
crazy.
That shows you the bar that you have set. Obviously, finally won Defensive Player of the Week last week. And Leonard Williams, Big Cat, doing his thing. Bump back on offense. What do we see from the receivers?
Receivers got it going, man. Jackson Smith and Jig, with the last 4 games, he has a 92% catch rate. 92%. So today, or yesterday, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 82 yards, 1 touchdown. Zach Charbonnet, perfect. 7 targets, 7 receptions, 59 yards. DK, don't sleep on DK. I know JSN is getting a lot of love, but DK had a couple big catches late in the game too, and he is due. 6 targets, 4 catches for 49 yards. Noah Fant had 3 for 18. A.J. Barner had the biggest reception that wasn't a touchdown or a third down pickup of the day, man, when he caught that ball in the flat and ran over the Cardinals defender, had the whole sideline hype.
Oh, yeah.
He had 1 for 13. Kenny McIntosh, big ups. He touched the ball 7 times running the rock, but here he had 2 receptions for 7 yards. Farrell Brown got him 1 for 6. And then Halani, you know what? You get your first reception. It's a negative, but it's okay.
It's a reception.
You touch the rock. It's all good.
Well, I just love what they were able to do. You look at attempts and rushing attempts, super balanced offensive attack from the Seahawks. So love to see that there, but that'll bring us to the play of the game. Zach Charbonnet takes it 51 yards to the house in the second quarter.
Charbonnet, left side, has a first down and then some. He's down to the 30, the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Seahawks! And they are still chasing Zach Charbonnet. 49 yards to pay dirt, his second touchdown of the game. The Seahawks came in saying, we got to find a way to run the ball. Holy catfish, they do. 49 yards for another 6 for Charbonnet, and the Seahawks extend their lead 23-10.
Man, what I love about gap scheme runs, so that's when you're pinning, you're pulling guys. It's not a zone where everyone's getting downhill. Is that when it hits, it looks just beautiful. And this is exactly what happens right here. Typically, when you run this kind of play, I call this like a GT pull, a guard tackle pull. That right side is going to pull, and everyone from the center to the left side are just going to block down, and then cross is going to get to that second level to the linebacker. Typically, when you do this, you have a motion going the opposite direction, kind of hold the end. This time, they're going to say, no, we're not going to do any motion. Geno's going to hold the end by him just being available, right? If that guy goes downhill, maybe Geno has the option to pull him. Geno ain't thinking about pulling it. He's giving it to Zach Charbonnet. So what happens is, hands the football off. The right side of the line goes crazy. Laumea, and we got our guy, Abe Lucas. Laumea blows somebody up, right? You don't pass up color. No, you do not pass up a jersey. The guy that's vacated by Charles Cross thinks he's free. Then he sees the big boy, boom, lights him up. You got Abe Lucas wrapping around, scaring Kaiser White, the linebacker there, and then Charles Cross working up to that second level. And Zach Charbonnet does a great job of just giving those big boys time to get in front, filling the space, hitting it, and then finishing it.
No, I love Tawa. Laumea crushing the game. Anytime you pull like that and you put someone on their back, I'm sure they're going to love watching that in film today. The other thing, too, is that as a defender, his eyes probably got super big. He's like, oh, I'm free. And it's like, you either got to keep your outside arm free or you got to wrong shoulder that and try to spill it. But he did neither and just ended up on the ground because Laumea, the Utah boy, was like, bro, I'm going to put you here against your will.
Yep.
And then Zach Charbonnet did the rest. So love to see that. And if they can, they found some success with that. They went to it over and over again last game. So I'm hoping that's just the tip of the iceberg because, Bump, obviously as an offensive coordinator, once you start having success with certain plays, all the different things you can do off of that action because they have to respect it. So,
I got 5 plays in my mind right now going off of that.
Okay. Why don't you swing by Grubb's office on the way out of here? You guys can chop it up and figure out what had happened. But the Seahawks, another huge win, taking down the division rival Cardinals. And Bump, I could get used to this.
Yeah.
4 weeks in a row. Give us the best formation in football.
Here comes the Seahawks offense onto the field and the Vikings defense trudging out there, knowing that one kneel down And the Seahawks are going to wind the clock down and win this one.
It's the victory formation on Hawk Talk.
I alluded to it earlier. This is probably the most complete game the Seahawks have played all season long. They were getting all phases in the game.
Yep.
The offense, defense, special teams. We know what a disaster special teams was the week before, so love to see them come out there, play clean football, and bump. It was about the run game.
It was about the run game. Let me big up the special teams, though. No footballs put on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
The Canadian came in, Jalen, and did his thing. So big as the special teams, too. But, yeah, run game. 176 on the ground, 134 from Zach Charbonnet. The first time since week 9 the Seahawks had rushed for more than 100 yards as a team. We've been begging. We've been asking for this.
Yes, we have.
And it finally showed up.
No, love to see it. And again, anytime you have something like that happen, everyone's happy for him. We want Ken Walker to be back as soon as possible.
For sure.
And if you got both of them playing like that, I'm telling you, man, watch out if the Seahawks get this run game.
Don't sleep on Kenny Mack. Sprinkle in a little Kenny Mack in that
Come
thing.
on, man. I'm so happy for Kenny Mack, too. You could just see it felt the same. If he had the same amount of carries, I feel like he would have had the same production because he was seeing things well and he was running hard. So big up Kenny McIntosh. And then Geno Smith. He was efficient for the second week in a row. And like I said, most important thing, no turnovers, taking care of the football. And Geno wasn't sacked all game long. Big ups to the offensive line because they're playing some good ball, too.
Big boys getting it done. Defensively, the Seahawks continue to find ways to take the ball away. You picked off Murray twice, and you didn't allow the run game to go nuts. I don't think people realize this about the Cardinals. At one point, they had the 5th best rush game in the NFL, and then coming into this game, they had a top 3 defense. They had a top 5 or 6 offense. They were playing some good football, but this defense kind of locked them up.
They went for like $150 on the Vikings, who are the number 1 run defense the week before.
Yeah.
And I believe they were still the 6th run offense in the league going into last week. So the Seahawks shutting them down, doing their thing. Remember, guys, this NFL season, feel every play, every hit, every moment with the Sony 1000 XM5 noise-canceling headphones. The official headphones of the Seattle Seahawks with premium noise cancellation. You're in the zone. No distractions is pure football. Whether you're in your living room or on the go, you'll never miss a beat with Sony headphones. Bump. Seahawks in the driver's seat in the NFC West. Got to keep stacking these wins. Got the Packers coming into town on Sunday night football, baby. It's going to be. You want to talk about every week the Seahawks have felt like they've been playing a playoff game. Here's another one at home. This is a huge one in the NFC, and me and Bump will dive into everything about the Packers. Coming up on Thursday with the next preview edition of Hawk Talk. Again, the Seahawks getting it done, beating the Cardinals 30-18. He's Michael Bumpus. I'm Nasser Kyobe. Thanks for listening. This has been Hawk Talk.